Hi, I'm Mark Costello, Chief Exec of Meshed. We are joined today by Grace from Harding Accountants and by Yvette from Forward. And my other sidekick is Derek.
Good to see you all, or for you to see me or hear me.
So thanks very much for joining us today, guys. You both have started accountancy firms fairly recently. Would that be a fair description?
Yep.
Who wants to kick us off then, and what made you go, right, I'm doing this on my own?
Go on. I can go. So I think the idea first came about for me in COVID when we started to get like the taste of working from home, and I thought I just kind of want this going forward. And also to be able to work, I guess, when I want, because I'm such like an early bird. So a lot of the time I work from like 5 in the morning, and then the afternoon, like later in the afternoons, I don't. That's just what works best for me. So after kind of COVID happened, I decided then to start planning to set up my own business, and I set it up at the on the side as well as working. And I did that for about, I think about 18 months, did them both at the same time. And then once it got to like comfortable level, which was last November, that's when I went full time then in the business.
Amazing.
Well, for me, it was slightly different. I was coming to the end of 3 years at my employment, and I wanted to go travelling because I had started my apprenticeship straight after school. So I had had no time to see the world or do anything like that. So I decided to leave my corporate job with the idea of going travelling and finding myself in Bali like every other 20-year-old something girl. Unfortunately, I didn't quite think it through because I'm quite an impulsive person. So it was actually rainy season in Bali, and I was going to have to wait 3 months to actually be able to go. So I thought, what do I do in the meantime? And I've always wanted to be self-employed. I just wasn't particularly good at anything that I could take to self-employment, but I knew I had my accounting qualifications and the experience. So I said to myself, okay, I'll give myself 3 months to start an accounting firm. If nothing happens, fine, I'll go to Bali and live my best life. But if something happens, then I'll have an accounting firm, and that'll be pretty cool. And here we are a year and a half later.
Like, damn, I wish I wasn't so successful. I could be Mali.
Yeah, I'm like my own worst enemy.
Bali's overrated anyway.
Wouldn't know, still haven't been.
So, interestingly, one of your drivers of it was the working from home piece.
Yeah.
So, my last business, which I sold December 23, we were entirely home working. This business, we're entirely home working. We get together days. I think anybody that thinks that having an office is an advantage is probably living in the past. That's my view. What about you? Do you have a work from home policy, or do you work in an office?
No, everyone works from home. But I work out of a private members club a
Okay.
couple of days a week, purely because their Wi-Fi is so much better than in my flat. But the team will come once a quarter for a day in the members club, and we'll like go for lunch and have catch-ups and things. But everyone works remotely. We also have flexible working hours, so a lot of people that work with me, they have kids, and it's really important to me that they can have enough time to drop their kids at school and pick them up and go see any school plays and have parents' evenings and everything like that. So we have completely flexible working hours.
Yeah, I think it's a huge advantage, and I look at the traditional, like the big businesses, so your EYs and then the big insurance companies in London, they're insisting that people come into the office 3 days a week because the chief exec doesn't want to go to the board and say, that 35 grand a year desk that we pay for, we're not using it at all. And that's the only thing. And I think it's a huge advantage when you're hiring to have fully remote. It also means you can hire from people who are not necessarily even in the country, right? And like for tech development, eventually I think we get to the point where we've got a 360 cycle of 24 hours a day where we've got people here, then people in other time zones, so that the tech just keeps flowing through. I think that's a big thing because we're a young business now as well, a bit like you guys are. So talk to me then about starting. So you do what you're going to do. You've got to get customers. It's always the big thing. It doesn't matter how good what you do is. You need to get customers. What's that journey been like for both of you?
I think for me, I was like, so one day I was like, okay, well, today I'm self-employed, and what do I do? Because I've got no meetings in my calendar, no one even knows who I am. So actually, how do you get from 0 to 1? So I started by actually creating ebooks on Canva because it was free. of like commonly asked tax questions that I was having. So I made them and put them on my website as free downloads. So when people would download them, they would get added to my email marketing, and I'd reach out to them, and then they'd go into the email marketing flow to nurture them. And the other thing I obviously did at the start was going to networking events, which weren't particularly successful for me. So then I turned to social media.
Cool. What about yourself, Yvette?
So for me, because I was doing it at the same time as like working in a full-time job, I never really at that time had the fear of like have to find clients, have to make that money, have to kind of, build up that income quickly. So I kind of just did it like plodding along, and it was mainly from like networking events and posting on social media that I started to get them. And then when I went then full-time in the business, once I got to a comfortable level last November, that was when I guess I started to then feel that fear and that pressure of like, oh gosh, you have to actually kind of rely on this income now on its own. You've not got like a salary. So then I just kind of then started to, well, then it was more getting more of like referrals by that point, but also from like posting on social media.
Yeah. Is there any particular channel that you think works best for you?
Well, I don't do much at all on TikTok or Instagram. I did at a point, but for me, it's LinkedIn.
LinkedIn for you. And I think we were speaking beforehand. You're kind of more, well, actually, it was both, wasn't it? Well, I say both. That's there's three there, and I'm saying both. But LinkedIn, Instagram,
Yeah.
and TikTok, but for different things. Can you go into that a wee bit more,
Yeah, of
Grace?
course. So we use TikTok and Instagram mainly for client acquisition. So that's where a lot of our clients come through the pipeline. I use LinkedIn personally for my personal brand and getting opportunities for myself and the other projects I work on, so apprenticeships and financial education and literacy. And that's where I get a lot of speaking opportunities and podcast opportunities, and also PR as well.
Awesome. And you mentioned like using Canva and stuff like that, which I use, you know, a few times a week anyway, but and similar thing to yourself. But a lot of the accountants that will be listening into this might be thinking Canva, maybe heard of it, but maybe haven't used it. Did you have like a background in kind of design stuff or anything like that, or did you just go, I'm going to just get into this, or did you use anybody to help you with it?
No, I don't really have a creative bone in my body, but I knew that other people were using it to design things and documents. So I was like, oh, Canva, I've heard of that. Let me use that. And it's so easy to use that you don't really need anyone to tell you what to do. There's so many templates where you can just change the wording. And at the beginning, that's exactly what I did. But obviously, when you start using something more, you're like, oh, okay, I know how to do things in this now. And it kind of just spiraled from there.
Yeah.
So I've been hearing, and I'm old enough to remember that I've been hearing that email marketing's dead, almost since the same day that email marketing started. How do you think that? Does that ring true to you guys, or do you believe that email marketing can still be a powerful tool for businesses to acquire customers?
I think for us, it's been really helpful because we run so many different events externally from accounting. So I, for example, on Wednesday hosted a female founders pitch night. So we had everyone's emails from the event, and that's a perfect way for them to come into my welcome flow, which is 7 days of emails getting to know me and everything that we offer. And then they go into the normal flow where every month they have something. But obviously there's so many freelancers in that room. So we put a lot of like educational content in our email marketing. And a lot of free resources, and at some point, like it's happened a lot, they'll go, well, now I need a self-assessment. And I know Grace offers self-assessment because I've heard it many a time, and I feel like I know her because we do things like we have a monthly roundup of stuff that I've been doing in my life with the firm, and so people feel like they're getting to know me already.
Very cool. What about you, Yvette? Do you use email as
So
well?
I have a newsletter that I set up, I think maybe a year ago. I'm still getting round to sending the first one. Yeah, haven't sent it yet.
But you use LinkedIn a lot, right?
Yeah.
For client acquisition.
Yeah.
So here is my view on LinkedIn, and I think it can be a tool. But when I think about it not as a tool for me to use for outbound, I think about the stuff that I get coming in the way. And how do you make what you're saying in the outbound stand out, right? Because my inbox is just full of software development companies from
Yeah.
Eastern Europe or from India and that kind of part of the world. And I'm not saying that there isn't value in those companies, but there's just the volume of them. It gets it chokes everything else out.
Yeah. I know what you mean with those ones. So I think like with the posting, it's, knowing, I guess, what the problem areas are for your clients and building, I guess, the post around it and the ways to solve those problems. But as well, I think majority of them are inbound, but it's about building relationships on there as well. So whether that's either speaking to people in the DMs or commenting on ideal clients' posts and things like that, then that kind of then starts the conversation for them to then eventually reach out when needed.
Cool. Here's a question for you then on LinkedIn, and I think I know the answer to it, but you might tell me something totally different, in which case I'll have learnt something and I'll have some work to do over the weekend. So you mentioned, getting into people's comments, your ideal clients, having conversations with them, DMing people and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on these set and forget type systems that are promising that they can automate all of your LinkedIn and do it all on autopilot? And I got one this morning and I thought, oh, this is a cracker. I can't remember the exact wording, but literally it was like almost zero effort. I'm like,
What was it, a comment or a DM?
no, this was somebody, yeah, they were trying to sell me their new system that they've got.
Okay.
And I thought, God, if only. Because I've tried quite a few over the years and I've yet to find anything that you can get consistent results without effort. Like, effort for me is just like, if I could ever figure out a way of doing it, it'd be great. But have you tried anything? Do you put much kind of weight on them?
I haven't tried anything, and you see like a lot of complaints on LinkedIn of like AI comments and things like that. So I haven't tried it, but there are other people that you can hire to do it, which would still be the human element, but it wouldn't be yourself. So I've always done it myself, but it is so time consuming.
Yeah.
Which has been a problem in terms of time. But yeah, I've always done it myself.
What about yourself, Grace? Have you tried any kind of automation stuff, and have you had any success with them?
No, we tried Dripify, which is
I've tried that.
Yeah, a piece of software where it essentially sends like DMs to people, but then when they DM back I wouldn't have the time to respond because I was so busy, so it kind of got stuck there, and then I was like, well, this is a massive waste of time. So I did that for about 3 months and didn't got many results from it, so I kind of just left it. But what we have is I have a PA, and she responds to a lot of comments and comments on other people's stuff. So again, it's that human element, but at the moment I don't have time to sit down, which is quite funny because my sister commented the other day and the PA replied, and my sister said, oh my God, thanks for replying to my comment, Grace. I know you're so busy. And I went, it wasn't me. She was a bit upset.
But you obviously put a lot of work in with your PA so that she gets your tone and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
we have so many SOPs for it. She has spent a lot of time with me, obviously, to understand my tone of voice and the way that I would respond. And she's done research into when I have been responding, what do I say to people and which people do I know and not know, because there's that line where I have a lot of people comment and some of them are my friends and I love them. So we put like full energy back into the responses and they're so supportive. But then you also get people who potentially are creepy old men, so you don't want to respond to those ones or give full effort back into those comments because then you might receive something you don't want.
And that is a problem, right?
Yeah.
Across all platforms, or is it? Because I've seen people complaining about that on LinkedIn as well as that. Yeah. I mean, it's wild, right? What is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's any creepy old men that are listening into this, give it a rest, man. It's embarrassing.
But yeah, so on to more positive than that. One of the things Derek and I've talked a lot about recently. So when I started I done the graduate training thing and became an insurance broker when I was about 24, and every Monday morning I'd get in the office for about 6 o'clock, I'd write 100 letters, post them, and then the following week that's the ones I would call, and that was my cycle. Have you thought about doing traditional letter through a letterbox?
I could. I'm severely dyslexic, so I don't think the letters would make a lot of sense.
No.
Yeah. But there is tools to help you get you into that.
No, of course. But I think for us personally, our USP is that we're young accountants and that we do everything remotely. And if you have a query, you WhatsApp us, and we're very active on social media. So it would also take away from our core values as who we are if we started sending out letters to people. personally, and that's just for us.
Similar kind of thought, really. So I did consider it, like, I think in like the local area, of doing like the letter thing, but then I thought as well similar, because I want to be like remotely then, and have that kind of modern edge. I didn't in the end.
Okay. So, you mentioned WhatsApp. It's something that we've not quite integrated yet into our business. Do you feel that your customers would rather communicate in WhatsApp than email then?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we give them the choice.
Yeah.
We go, hey, if you need anything, you can email us, but also this is the WhatsApp number, and if you need anything, please just send it here. And they prefer that, so any queries, questions, concerns, scary letters from HMRC usually just go straight through WhatsApp, and it means they can voice note us as well. Because for me, I'm severely dyslexic. I got diagnosed with dyslexia when I was in primary school, so having to write a very long email about what I want to discuss or any queries I have is not the way I personally want to communicate. I would rather just WhatsApp someone because I find speaking so much easier. So I wanted it to be accessible to other clients that might be in the same position.
And do you have like group chats where all your customers are in it for like doing like mass messaging and stuff like that, or
No, so we message everyone individually.
individually? What about you,
Same,
Brit? Yeah.
same. So they get the option of email or WhatsApp, and 9 times out of 10 they choose WhatsApp.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, and I don't have any group chats for them. If I do like a monthly newsletter to clients, so I send like updates that way, group updates.
WhatsApp is the way to go. See, 3 years ago, I don't think. In fact, I could definitely count in one hand the amount of business conversations I've had on WhatsApp, whereas now,
It's quite changed, hasn't
yeah.
it?
And I kind of sometimes I still think to myself, God, what was I doing? Why was I not on this much sooner? But
And is
yeah.
the beauty of this that you don't get spammed on WhatsApp? Is that why it is? Do you think that's why it is? It's became so ubiquitous just because you don't get spam on it, and like you honestly, because we're a young company, email addresses are fairly young, and the amount of spam I get some mornings, I look at my computer and go, I'm just going to turn it back off again because I can't look at that.
I think I just get a lot of emails on a very regular basis, and it's also sifting through the noise.
Yeah.
So what's important, what's not, what can wait, and to be honest, I just don't look at it unless I'm sat at my laptop. Whereas, like, for example, today I'm here, so if a client needs me, they can WhatsApp me, and I'm gonna see it straight away, and I can answer it on the tube, and it's so much easier to do.
And what tool do you use for that WhatsApp so that your team are all getting the messaging and all of that stuff?
So we use ManyChat, but we also have business WhatsApp,
Okay.
so other people can log into it.
Something to
We
think
need to be
about.
looking into this. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there any other tools that you have been using kind of recently, or tech that you think this is something that's been a bit of a game changer?
I used some software, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was for DMing on LinkedIn, because I usually I find like doing the DMs in LinkedIn is not very like user friendly, and there was a software that I used that made it so easy to do.
See if you remember what that is going to
Yeah,
tell
I
me.
will do, I will.
It is one of my biggest challenges. Is it, like, I love LinkedIn. I'm on it all the time, probably too much. I've got loads of DMs going, but I miss things. And actually, just before you guys came in, I was saying to Mark, I was like, I know I've got a message from someone from earlier this week, and I'm trying to sift through
Yeah,
it.
you can flag them and everything,
Yeah.
so you can put like if they're like a friend or if it's business potential or anything, and you can put times on them. I think it's called Condo.
Condo. I think I've actually
Yeah.
heard of that, actually,
I've
but
not heard of
not
that. Yeah.
looked at it, so I'll be looking into that over the weekend. What about yourself, Grace?
I think there's so many, but at the moment, Engager has been really helpful. So for practice management,
Yeah.
they've obviously just come out with their proposal add-on as well, so we can do the proposal letter of engagement. And I spent a lot of time doing my like checklists and phases and services. So now that's all pretty automated. And we've been using Notion a lot. So that's where we've made templates, because their new AI is amazing.
Yeah,
You can
it
type
is.
it in and say, I want a template where I can do X, Y, Z. And any changes you want made, you just go, please, can you make these changes? And it does it all the programming in the background. So we have a client hub on there. We have our SOPs live on there. Like leads and CRM live on there. It's perfect.
Yeah, Ellen, our team,
so
she is
good.
just all over Notion.
She is.
We're a bit behind, I think, definitely on that.
Yeah,
but
it's amazing.
Elle loves Notion.
I'm a bit like you. Like, I'm very verbose, like speaking. I don't really like writing stuff down. And I think if we can get, have you tried Whisper AI?
Yes, I was with a client last week and they showed it to me because you can do it with your email. You just hold
You just
down.
FN, yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It really is game changing. It really is.
Yeah,
What is it?
so it's Whisper Flow.
Whisper Flow. You press the FN button on your keyboard and you just speak. So,
Right.
say I email you and say, Vic, can you give me this tax return? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
You click on it and just go, hi Mark, yep, got that across to you next week, whatever,
okay.
blah blah blah, and then it just types it all out perfectly. Does the grammar, does your sign
Amazing.
off, the whole bit.
And it also formats it like an
Yeah.
email, so you don't have
Oh,
to go in and
God.
like press
Yeah.
enter like all
Yeah.
the time. It's
Oh
really
God,
good.
amazing.
The more you use it, the more
it gets intuitive.
And if you have to make like changes like meshed, when I would be saying meshed, it would sometimes not pick it up right. Now it picks it up automatically.
okay, that's
I use it for
good.
Chat GPT when I'm trying to kind of come up with content, and I've found that because I'm speaking to it, my prompts are much longer, but you end up in a back and forth I say conversation. It's not speaking back to me, but what's the output that I get from it sounds way more like me because I'm putting stuff into it in my own natural voice. So yeah, I mean, I've been raving about it. I slept on it for about 6 weeks. Our team were using it and kept saying, "You need to get it, need to get it." Oh, yeah, I'll do it. And then when I finally did it, I was like, I am never ever not listening to you tech guys again because they clearly know what they're talking about. So yeah, I would definitely recommend having a wee look at that. Or there are other
Thanks.
dictation applications that are also pretty good as well, but Whisperflow is certainly the one that we're using, and it's working really well.
I'll have a look.
So, we've talked about tools and all of that stuff, and then thinking about you guys are in a fairly young business. We're a fairly young business. What if you got the crystal ball out? Where are you going to be in 3 years? And what do you think's going to have changed in the industry to make, and how are you going to have responded to that?
I think in accounting there's so many changes constantly. I mean, obviously this year we've had AML going to the FCA, we've had MTD. There's so much all of the time. So I think hopefully we'll be in the depths of MTD and everyone will have figured out how to do that in the best way possible, the most efficient way possible, and understanding those very niche rules and having that communication from HMRC. But obviously we'll have so much more automation and AI. We talk about agentic AI now as well coming into accounting, which will be really interesting, but I feel like we'll be taking way more of a strategic role with our clients more than the day-to-day work.
What about you?
Yeah, similar. So I think AI will kind of help streamline a lot of the work, but I think definitely like the fractional side of things is becoming a lot more popular now. And hopefully then clients will have more awareness of that benefit of like the fractional strategic work. So then, yeah, I agree that there's going to be a lot more support with them in that way.
How many of the public do you think are really aware that making tax digital is a thing?
A small fraction.
Not many.
Yeah. I don't watch much traditional TV, right, or media. I don't ever see it advertised. I don't see it in billboards, nothing.
No.
It's like the government rely on accountants to pass this message down the line, but then HMRC won't accept that when a customer works with an accountant and the accountant gets it wrong, that it's not the accountant's fault, right? Because they're almost treating accountancy, because of like pushing the message down the line like that, like it's a regulated industry, but it's not a regulated industry. It's a bit weird, really.
It is. I mean, I think it is. I think it is advertised in places, but I just don't think people are paying attention to it. Yeah, they
And
just
I
wouldn't
just-
if they didn't know really. But
Yeah, and I feel like it's difficult to know if you fall into the bracket for it
Yeah.
because there was a lot of questions around, well, which tax return makes you eligible for MTD? And obviously at the
Yeah.
moment it's 50k in sales, which doesn't affect too many people, but obviously once it goes down to 30 and then 20k,
Yeah.
that's when we'll see a lot of people. But I was having this conversation with HMRC the other day, and it's people actually not opening the letters or feeling like it's a scam or disregarding them because they're not worded in the right way, or misinformation online. There's so many other factors involved in it. So I think we'll see such a spike in people trying to figure out what MTD is in August when the first penalty letters come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People just panic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in will come the accountants to save the day.
Heroes,
Yeah.
what can I say?
Yeah. Not all heroes wear capes.
We actually carry calculators.
I like that. So I was talking about that. That's kind of more, the industry and where that's going and the opportunity. What about yourselves in your own kind of practice? What's the kind of the outlook? What are you trying to grow a big firm? Are you what are you? Because I speak to a lot of accountants, and there are obviously those that are wanting to build something big, and they've got this grand exit or to be acquired and stuff. But I'm seeing more and more accountants, and I don't want to. I think I know he's a wee bit, but that are actually more interested in actually trying to build a business that allows them to have the lifestyle that they want. And I would argue that in some ways that may actually be a better option than. But what is it? What are you trying to do yourself? Do you have a kind of?
For me, so I have built the accountancy business now, so I have that there. But I want to now focus more on the strategic side of things, so like the fractional FD work. So, whether that's working with accountants that don't offer that, or whether it's working directly with businesses, doing kind of a bit of both really, but that's where all of my services are going to go towards now.
Cool. What about yourself?
For me, again, at the beginning it was more the lifestyle, and then I achieved that, and then I was very happy. Because I live by myself in a nice flat in London, I can buy as many matches as I want, so I'm a pretty happy gal now. So now it's about building the firm up. I've decided I do want to grow it. So that's what we're in the midst of at the moment. But also having time to do the other side quests, I like to call them, that make me happy, because it's great doing someone's tax return, but for me, sometimes it's not, my purpose is not being fulfilled. So I love helping people. Like, that's what makes me happy. So we're doing third-party research on financial education in young people, which will be submitting to the government early next year, which will be really exciting. So we're doing a whole campaign on that.
Nice.
I'm bringing out an apprenticeship, so I'm becoming a training provider for accounting apprenticeships.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, which is super exciting. Next April. So like, there's loads of exciting things in the pipeline that help me fulfill my purpose more. So it's also having time and building those two.
And do you think acquisitions will be part of that strategy? Is it something you'll think about?
Yeah, so we want to acquire 2 firms in the next 3 years.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah.
And have you got an idea what that type of firm looks like?
Yeah, we've built it out all internally, so we're just now on the hunt.
Very good. Very good. It's doing that acquisition piece is like, it is exciting, but then the lawyers do suck all the joy out of it.
Sorry to any lawyers that are.
Sorry, Donald. He's my lawyer. But they do. But it is very exciting, and we are like, our industry has really, like, M&A activity in insurance is wild. It's been wild for a long time, and it's got to the point people are paying 25, 26 times EBITDA to do transactions.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's good if you're one of the ones that's acquired, though,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, it does seem to me that accountancy has managed to retain a geographical, local type presence to it, whereas our industry has lost that. I probably think there is maybe a wee bit too many accountants, but I think the insurance market's went the other way, and there's not enough choice. So that's kind of part of the driver behind what we're doing. Very cool. So, on Tax Digital, final question from me on that. Which one of the Tax Digital platforms do you use? One, do you use multiple? And if you use multiple, what's your favourite?
So at the moment we're using Xero.
Yeah.
Because we predominantly use that. We have used Sage for a couple of clients, but there's just more and more software coming out every single week. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. I had a demo today with a company where you can actually upload the bank statement. It does it all for you and you export it and that's it. But they don't have a way to attach digital records right now, but it's something they'll look for in the future. And it's like £3 per client.
That's huge difference, right? What about you, Yvette?
So it's Zero for me. And yeah, I think I will just have a look as well and see what other ones come out. That sounds good. Yeah, but at the moment, Zero.
Zero are
Yeah.
going to be loving us at the moment. We should, Zero, if you want to sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, you really should, yeah. You
I
really
am
should.
kind of joking.
But Sage obviously had been the dominant force for years and years, and I mean, but Sage has been about since the 60s or 70s or whatever, right?
Long time, yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people really like their newest modules and stuff as well, right?
I've got to say,
Yeah.
I
Their
was at,
Copilot is amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was at an event that the digital accountancy show guys put on. I think it was AI and tax or accountancy or something like that back at the beginning of July. And Sage showed off some of the new stuff that they're doing, and I think I said this on another podcast that we recorded recently. But I thought, oh, like this is interesting. But then I went to the Zero Roadshow in Edinburgh 3 weeks ago, and I seen what they were unveiling, and I thought, all right, you guys have definitely woken up, because it felt as if they just, I mean, Zero obviously get such a huge market share, and they are the dominant player in that space, but felt as if maybe the rest were catching them a wee bit. So I think it's going to be really interesting. It's great for the
Yeah.
accountants, but more importantly, it's great for clients, because it's forcing everybody to innovate quicker and
Yeah, definitely.
and come up with new cool stuff. Is there anything else that you have seen recently? Any other software stuff that you think, oh, that's worth a wee nose here, that you're kind of keeping your eye on?
Can't think at the moment.
Nothing jumping out at me. I think sometimes we get like shiny software syndrome where we like see all of the amazing softwares. We think, oh my God, that's so cool. And then I realise that actually I probably don't need that right now.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of vendors in the accounting space saying that they've built workflow software, right? And I'm like, how can you build workflow for anybody more than one firm at a time? Because every firm's got its own heartbeat, right? I don't get that. And I think what happens, and I might be wrong about this, but I don't know if you guys follow like Dave Selick on LinkedIn. Dave's a really cool guy, and he's got a real good idea about technology. And I agree. I've spoke to Dave at length about this. I think that what happens is companies buy workflow software, try and work with it, end up really angry with it because it's not doing exactly what their workflow is, and that's kind of the dream they've been sold. And then it either ends up getting binned or just ruining a part of their process, and it doesn't make them any more efficient.
Yeah, that's why I like Engager, because all the workflows you create yourself. So
Right.
yes, you have to put the time into making the workflow and the SOP.
But it's yours.
But once you've done that, you can then implement it into Engager, and then every single one of your employees can follow it.
Very cool. Cool. Well, listen, thanks very much for joining us today. It's been really interesting. I always ask the same question at the end of podcasts. Tell us one thing that you think people should watch that's interesting at the moment, one thing they should read, or one thing that they should listen to.
So I don't read, because
Okay.
I'm dyslexic. So I think everyone should listen to the new Jay Shetty podcast with Emma Watson.
Right,
I
okay.
found it really inspiring, like really interesting, and like a very in-depth, just natural conversation. It
Cool.
was great.
So I don't watch anything. So for me, I've just been reading the book called The Psychology of Money. So I recommend that because it's a good way to understand like your own clients and understand, I guess, the psychology behind the fears of money and why they spend money and why they lose their money and things like that.
Who wrote that?
Can't remember, but it's
Okay.
called The Psychology of Money.
I'll look it up. Okay, thank you very much for coming on, guys. Just final thing, is there anyone in the accountancy space you'd recommend that we speak to next?
So many. I'll send a list over later.
Send us a list.
Yeah.
Don't like me calling anybody out. Like that.
There's loads.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for your time, guys.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Cheers.